Okay, we're back again. I'm sorry, we had a technical difficulty, so I apologize for that. We are back. We are entering into the afternoon session of the James Crumbly trial. Sorry. His son was a shooter at a Michigan school. Oxford is a little village just outside of Detroit. So, in the first portion of it, we heard from a teacher who was shot in the arm. Thank God when she saw the shooter, she tried turning. She did get shot in the arm. It was through and through. As we saw on her testimony, had she not, the shooter's grouping was impeccable. You had one headshot, two literally boom, boom, and one, thank God she did not get hit. It would have been fatal. As I said earlier today, this is a show that's got some very sensitive information and testimony. I do not recommend it for children. So I do have a trigger warning posted, as you can see on the screen. I'm Ada Kay, and I kind of see myself as the substitute or the alternate juror. I have had hundreds of hours of viewing and listening and actually being involved in some cases. I am not a lawyer. This is just my perspective. So I view everything as if I was a juror. I try not to find out any information ahead of time. For this particular case, the son pled guilty, was sentenced to life without the possibility of parole. The wife was charged with involuntary manslaughter, just like James Crumbly is. She was found guilty. So, not going to give you much information on her case because I want to view this as if we knew nothing. So let's go ahead and get on. Court has started. They're about 15 minutes ahead of us. I like having a little bit of buffer time. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to go to court. Let me scrub it up a little bit. Okay, they're bringing him in. Somebody was asking, why is it that he has these headphones on? He actually has a hearing difficulties. It's called hard of hearing. So he has the headphones, so he has better access to what's being said. I got my cup of coffee with my Starbucks mug, and that's in sign language. That's basically the sign connect, and it looks like this. For those of you who don't know, I am deaf without my hearing aids, and so for this, I have special ears in so I can hear. I will be stepping away periodically. I have a service dog that sometimes needs to be attended to. But I will be leaving, when I do step away, I will be leaving the trial up on screen. I think there's going to be a motion before the court. I don't see, okay.
People's proposed exhibit 150.
There we go. And they'll turn their volume on when they're ready. The mics are not the best of mics, just FYI.
22279-989-FH.
Thank you, Marquise, on behalf of the people.
Karen McDonald on behalf of the people.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Mario Lehman on behalf of James Crumbly, who is standing to my left.
You may be seated. We had an argument yesterday evening about numerous exhibits. A number of exhibits were allowed in, some were excluded this morning. There's a question remaining about People's Proposed Exhibit 133 and People's Proposed Exhibit 153. People's Proposed Exhibit 153, we heard an argument about it's the court's ruling that this exhibit does not qualify under any hearsay exception. It's the same ruling and for the same reason that Exhibit 118 was excluded. And then as it pertains to Exhibit 133, broke this exhibit down into two parts. The first one is the Tuesday 10 a.m. I have to go to my kid's school. Counselor just called. This is what I'm dealing with. I'll be back by 11:30 to 12 the latest with a picture of the math homework. And that was a text between co-defendant Miss Jennifer Crumbley and her friend. And I don't find this text relevant to the case of James Crumbley. So I'm going to exclude it, except the prosecutor may raise it if it's necessary for some reason in impeachment, such as chronology or a knowledge issue. So if it's necessary to impeach some other evidence that's admitted, I'd reconsider that issue. With regard to the bottom part of this exhibit, again, plaintiff's exhibit 133, on Tuesday at 1:23 p.m. As an offer of proof, and the prosecutors indicated they'd be able to demonstrate that there was an active shooter alert, and that subsequent to that, the defendant is calling his wife, Mrs. Crumbly, from their home, and that while Mrs. Crumbly is on the phone with her husband, she is texting her friend, presumably under the influence of the startling event, that there's an active shooter in the school, that Mr. Crumbly is at the home. She's on the phone with Mr. Crumbly, and contemporaneous with her conversation with Mr. Crumbly, she texts, "The gun is gone, and so are the bullets. And OMG, and he's going to kill himself, and he must be the shooter." So I'll be allowing those text messages in pursuant to 803.2. Right?
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, that's good for the
So,
prosecution.
are you ready for the jury?
FYI,
Yes,
I'm going to pause it. FYI, before trial actually started, there were some other motions about evidence, whether it should come in or not. The prosecution lost on both of those motions. So I'm not going to tell you what the evidence is now. I will on a recap later on. And so I'm sorry, I feel like I'm way low. But we're going to go ahead and continue watching, and I shall be right back.
All rise for the jury.
All right, you can see it. Mr. Jablonski, you are second. Okay. All right, go ahead.
Thank you. So we were talking about when you arrived at Oxford High School on November the 30th, and you went to the security office.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And tell us again, what was your primary responsibility at that point in time?
Was to try to secure the video that of what had happened in the hallway where the shooting started.
And you said that there were a number of cameras operational at Oxford High School at that time?
Yes, there was.
So, in securing the video, what specifically were you asked to do?
We weren't really asked to do anything. I assumed what the bosses, the sheriff and the interview, all them would want to know is where it started. We knew it started in the 200 hallway, and we saw as the shooter came out, but we were trying to figure out when he went into the bathroom.
So what did you do to accomplish this goal?
The shooter came out of the bathroom with a black coat on. We kept on, rewinding 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and walked all the way through looking for him to go into the bathroom. And we didn't know the shooter's name at the time. Then we could never find somebody going into the bathroom wearing what the shooter had when he came out. somebody told us what his name was. And so we knew that he was in the counselor's office earlier in the day. So we went all the way back to the time he was coming out of the counselor's office to determine what he was wearing before he went back. That's how we're able to figure out when he did go in.
Okay, so you were able to eventually identify the shooter?
Yes.
Now, are you the person who actually synced together the camera footage for other investigators?
Yes, it was.
Okay, and tell me, how is it that you were able to do that?
With over 100, at least 100 cameras in the school, we just take clips of each one. As they move from one camera, you go to the next camera and save that section, and then there's software that I use to just thread them all together.
And then you testified earlier that you were aware that the shooter was at his counselor's office. Were you also aware that James and Jennifer Crumbly were at Oxford High School that day?
At that time, yes, I was. Yes, I'm sorry.
And eventually, were you requested to obtain as much surveillance video footage from that point in time as you could?
Your Honor, I'm going to object to leading.
It's just foundational, Jim.
All right, Sistine.
Now, in the
That's an appropriate
immediate days
objection.
after the
Thank
shooting,
you.
what was your primary responsibility with regard to the video?
Different things came up. There was a rumor going around that the shooter had actually tried opening doors, and identifying himself as the police. Well, that was actually the police, but I had to go up there and get more video footage just to determine how far he went completely down the hallway before he turned around, and then what had happened in the surrounding hallways and such like that.
And as the investigator who had to sync together the video, did you have to watch the video of the shooting itself?
Yes, sir.
All told, how many hours of video do you think you watched to put this together?
Too many.
How many different angles did you have to see this from?
You can see the emotion. He's trying to control his emotion.
Every angle. Every camera. There's some cameras that pointed back in one direction from where that it started to, I don't know, 7 different angles maybe at different times.
I couldn't imagine
And
watching
part of
all
putting
those
that-
videos.
Footage together, were you aiding in the identification of the victim?
Yes.
Tell us what you saw in the video.
All right, trigger warning. Trigger warning. If you do not wish to hear the details of the victims and what he saw, please mute, come back later so you can pass through this section. This is not going to be easy or pleasant to hear. So what people don't realize is even though he wasn't there and he didn't see the actual event, he had to watch all of the live videos or all the recordings of the event and had to watch them multiple times. This poor guy, you could tell he's still traumatized. You can tell this is still raw to him. He is very emotional. The chin's quivering. He's trying to keep his composure. This kind of stuff does not leave you, ever. So, you've been warned. If you leave right now, you will not hear this information.
Started at 12:51. The shooter came out of the bathroom. I'll never forget it. He came out of the bathroom like what I've referred to before in my life, like a proud chest, like his shoulders were back. And he comes out of the bathroom, and there's Phoebe and her boyfriend just standing right there. And he takes the gun. And as he comes out of the bathroom, and he turns and levels the gun and fires at Phoebe, and hits her in the shoulder, and fires at her boyfriend, hitting him in the hand as he raised his hand from seeing the gun. Can you imagine? Then to his right, immediately, right there, was harnessing to the Coyote and right. And he started shooting at them. And they fell on top of each other. And in the distance in the camera, you can see a far end of the angle. You see what I found out to be was Madison Baldwin, and she crouched down, like, I don't know if it was, I don't know if it was in, I don't know why she did it, but it was in a fetal position. And the shooter ran right up to her, and he put the gun right on her head. She just fell over. He rounded the corner in the longer part of the 200 hallway. Prior to running up towards Madison, he had just fired down the hallway, just trying to hit anybody that was running out of there. He rounds the corner and starts shooting. You see a whole bunch of kids. You see a whole bunch of teachers standing at doors, just grabbing kids as they ran by and just throwing them into a room. And then there's two girls. One you see, she runs up to a door and tries pulling it open, but the people inside had already put the safety latch at the bottom of the door. She couldn't get it open. Meanwhile, the shooter's still walking towards, and another girl comes from the right side of the frame and grabs the other one by the arm and just tears off down the hallway. Meanwhile, the shooter is shooting at them. The shooter keeps walking down the hallway past 200, I think it was a 400 T intersection, I think is what that was. He levels the gun. And he fires 2 rounds, and at first I didn't know what he was shooting at. When you go to the section of video that time was, is when Tate here just comes in and unknowing to him, had no idea what was happening. The shooter leveled the gun, and just as Tate turned the corner, the shooter fired a round. Tate guns, right? The shooter took a couple steps and then leveled the gun again, and just to shoot Tate again, laying there, shot him. You see Tate's body flinch. He then walks over Tate. At the top of the frame, you see his feet stop, the shooter's feet, and he turns towards a room that, looking at the frame, would be on the left, or would have been his left. And come to find later on, he fired into a classroom where a teacher was. He continues on down the hallway, almost hunting for more victims or whatever. And he gets past a certain point, and there's no one else to shoot at because everybody ran out of the school. And every door, every possibility, every door locked, whatever. And you see him turn around, and he stops at a classroom that, based on where the door is, you can't see deep into the room. It's like the room goes that way, but he can only see straight in. Well, as he's walking back this way, he can see the kids, I'm imagining, hiding in that corner because he stops and fires off a few rounds through the glass. He then comes back, walking towards where Tate was lying. At this time, an assistant principal was laying there, or standing there next to Tate. And the shooter just walks past her with the gun in his hand, and she said something to him. I'm not sure what she said, but you could tell, like, he turned his head, like, almost didn't even look at her, turned his head, like, in shame. I don't know. And then he keeps on walking down the hallway to the bathroom where the other victim, Justin Schilling, was. And he just, as he gets to the bathroom, he just stops and turns right. He was going right to the bathroom.
Did the shooter eventually exit the bathroom?
Yes.
Before he did somebody else exit the bathroom?
Yes. Another student.
Tell me what you saw there.
That student, he was, I don't know how else to say it, but I've never seen somebody actually run. That kid was running for somebody.
Now, did the shooter eventually exit the bathroom himself?
Yes, he does.
Tell me about that.
Comes out of the bathroom, and he looks around a little bit, see what's going on. Turns around and the bathroom, the doors sit back in like a cubby type area, so they're off the hallway. The main hall you really can't see, but he turns back around. And eventually now, the two first responding deputies had gotten Jason Lure and Jens were coming down the hallway, and Lure was a little bit faster than Jens was, just because he was trying to cover more ground. You could see Tate laying on the ground, and Jens is walking a little bit slower. As he's walking up to him, the shooter just puts his hands up in the air and goes down to his knees. As he's doing that, Jens realizes he sees something, and he yells "gun" from what he told me. And the shooter then lays down on his stomach. Jason Lure come back, and that's when they take him into custody.
Hello? Hold on, let me get you in my ear.
Based upon your
Okay, I got
video
you.
review, and you said you've had to watch hours of this.
Yes, sir.
I am. I was going to call you tonight.
Fair to say that the entire incident was about 9 minutes long.
Yes, sir. Taken into custody at 1300.
I'm hoping to leave between 9 and 10 in the morning.
Sorry.
Thank you, sir.
Wanted to know if we could take you
I'm going
dinner.
to go through some of the evidence that you recovered in your forensic
Okay.
investigation. We
Well,
talked
we
about different information that you were able to
Well,
draw
we
upon
can,
from
Sarah would love
James
that. And
Crumbly's
I'll take
phone,
you to
Jennifer
lunch
Crumbly's
on
phone.
Saturday.
and Shooter's phone, as well as your social media accounts and emails.
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay.
So,
we're good to go
you've
then.
seen
Didn't want
all
you
of the
guys
bits
to do
of-
a lot of work.
Every exhibit in this case you've seen, is that right?
That's correct.
And you've seen the demonstrative portions of those exhibits in this PowerPoint.
Oh, it'll be
PowerPoint
fine.
report.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, we've.
So
I haven't
you're
got
aware,
the hotel
everyone's
room. I
aware, we
figured
have
I'd
a
just get it when I
citation
get
with
there.
the evidence number on that slide, as well as a citation to where
Yeah.
from these sources of electronic information was pulled from.
Are you going to
Correct.
be
Yes.
okay with Sensei being with me during the day?
Now, from what you reviewed of the exhibits, do they fairly and accurately depict the information that you extracted from the social media accounts and from the devices
Well,
themselves?
Yes.
I can leave her in the hotel. I can.
So we'll start in
Um,
late winter or early spring of
I can.
2021.
Well, do you know what I can do is I can bring a crate. And we can put her in the crate.
Information, which exhibit is this specific?
This is not an exhibit, this is just a demonstrative aid for the Thank you.
I was going to put the
So we'll
crate
start
in the
with,
backyard so she could
March
place
8th,
to go lay down.
2021. Before we get into that,
And, you know,
a little bit of
so that-
background. You were
It'll be
able
fine.
to obtain a Facebook Messenger chat between James and Jennifer Crumbley.
That's correct.
And tell me how you were able to obtain that.
When we were talking earlier, you can send search warrants off. After
Well,
conversation with
let me
judge to
talk to
obtain
Matt, see if
information
I
on
can leave her
someone's
with
social
him
media
this
accounts or
weekend.
phone numbers.
And since Sarah
Okay.
is with
And
me,
did that happen in this case?
well, Sarah's with me, so that's okay. I'm
So
not
I'm going to
alone.
show you what's been
And
admitted as
I'd rather
people
not.
44. Sir, what are we
Yeah,
looking at
I
here?
understand your
That's the
attitude,
Facebook
so.
chat between
And-
James and Jennifer, and the green would be James Crumbly, and blue would be Jennifer's.
Okay, so we won't do this with every step, but just so we are on the same page here. It says
Yeah.
from Facebook 691473442 JC Rumley. What does that mean?
The numbers is that,
Actually, yes, you are getting
ID
hazy
account
smoke
that was signed
from
by
a lot
Facebook.
of the
and then
burning
JC
debris and
Rumley
brush
is
and
the
all the
screening
pollen
that
from
goes
those
inside
trees
these.
when the fire
Okay.
hits it, they
And then
erupt
we
like
have
popcorn.
in the bottom of
And
the
then
text
that
bubble, we
can
have the
spread
date.
all over
So this is
the
March
state.
8,
I mean, it
2021.
will eventually
The time, 3:09:50 p.m. And then it says UTC-5. What is that?
It's just to tell you that it's been adjusted, so the normal information is captured in UTC time, -0. And it all time starts And the point, in Greenwich, it used to be called
Well,
Greenwich,
I'll talk to
DMV,
Matt.
well, now
You
it's
know,
UTC,
she can,
Universal.
it's okay for me to leave her with him.
Anyways,
It's
all
okay.
time starts there. Depending on which way you go from
Okay.
that point on the globe is
We're
whether
good.
it's plus hours or minus hours.
But,
And we're 5 hours away.
I'd
from
rather
our
do that. And, she could use a little break.
So let's
As
go through
long-
this
If I was
conversation.
traveling alone, that'd be
Blue
another story, but I have Sarah
From
with
Jennifer,
me,
Ethan going to bowling.
so
What's-
I'm
and
good.
green is
And
James.
Sarah knows sign
Correct.
language
What's
if
the
my
response
hearing
there?
aids go
An
down
IDK?
or anything happens. So we're good.
Jennifer, what do you mean?
But
I
I
don't know.
am doing something new. I'm on live right now on
what was
YouTube,
James'
and I'm
response?
doing
James said,
commentary
I don't know,
on Friday.
period. Exactly what I said, period.
Yeah,
We'll know after
cool.
he gets home.
But anyway,
And Jennifer's
do we need to
response,
bring you
3:12
anything for
p.m.
you?
Does he have his phone? Again, 3:12 p.m. Why isn't he home yet? 3:12 p.m. He should be home by now.
Correct.
And Jennifer at 3:12 p.m. and 56 seconds says freaking out.
Yeah.
What was James' response?
He does not get home until 3:16.
So March 8, 2021, that was a weekday. From the combination of the digital evidence that you reviewed,
I have it
patient
every
history,
once in a while, so
were you
that's
able
cool.
to tell
Good.
where James
Is
was when he
Paula
was
staying
sending
with
his
you
message?
all weekend?
Yes,
Where's that?
he was at.
Okay.
And Jennifer's
No
response,
problem.
I told you to pick him up because he's upset and I don't want him to do anything stupid, goddammit.
Correct.
Okay.
That's March 8th at 3:13 p.m.
Correct.
Okay, and James's response?
Dude, period, chill, period, it's fine, period. And I'm trying to fucking work.
Okay. I'm gonna move on to, again, March 8th, 3:13
I'm
p.m.
gonna
with
check
Jennifer
Waze
saying.
and see the best route depending on
Jennifer
traffic.
replied that does he have his phone?
I usually go the
Question
northern
mark,
route
question
through
mark.
Humble and like I've
And
always
James'
done.
response?
Yes, but he won't answer while he is walking. And we'll let you know the minute he walks in.
Okay. And Jennifer at 3:14 p.m. says what?
I'm
Yeah.
serious freaking out. Then she says, is he home yet? And that was 3 minutes later.
That's March 8th, 2021. That was a Monday.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna look
3:17
before we
p.m.
leave in the morning.
Yes, correct.
I'm going to move on to Exhibit 61. Again, James
Yeah.
and Jennifer Facebook messages. Blue will always be
Exactly.
Jennifer, is that right?
Correct, yes.
Exactly.
March 19th, 9:37 a.m.
I am too.
Tell us what Jennifer
Talk to you
is.
later. Bye-bye.
Jennifer rates Ethan awake.
Okay, James' response.
Yeah.
Jennifer,
He replies with, how is he?
and what does James say?
James then says he woke up looking like he had way, in all caps, too much to drink last night, complaining about a headache.
That's March 19th, 2021, 9:40 a.m. And what does Jennifer write?
She replied with, well, he was really worked up and out of control, so I can see why. She continues on with, all I know is he needs to eat, go to work hard, and not complain. And then get his stuff back. And that was at 9:41 a.m.
Okay. And 10:15.
Jennifer says, you respond, I didn't get a call. I didn't get it.
Okay. And James' response.
He responds back with, one text says Jesus, another one says yes. He
Okay.
said, let me ask you a question. Why am I in your guys' room? LOL.
And that was at March 19th, 21, 10:17 a.m.
Correct.
And Jennifer's response.
OMG. Oh my God.
What did James write?
James responded, I totally thought you were giving him a Xanax last night.
Jennifer's response.
She responded with, does he seem better? Then second response, no melatonin.
Okay. And what did James say?
He responds back with, I know.
Jennifer's response at 10:18 a.m. please.
Jennifer said, but he hasn't had one before, should have only given him half.
And what did James say?
He was just doing his school, says his head hurts, he took so Tylenol.
Okay. And Jennifer wrote, is he okay to work?
Correct, she did. And then James responded back with, yeah.
Okay. And what did Jennifer write at March 19th, 21, 11:38 a.m.?
Does he remember what he did?
And what did James say?
James responds back with, dude, I am working on a demo right now. I have not talked to him, and he is doing school.
Okay. Jennifer's response.
She responds back with, okay then, geesh.
Now you've reviewed the entire phone seized from the shooter.
Correct.
Okay. Did one text message conversation stand out to you compared to the rest?
Yes.
Okay. And tell me, why did it stand out?
Just the volume of text messages back and forth, the amount that was in just one chat.
Okay. Now, without telling us the person with whom the shooter was texting with that volume, can you tell us if you came to learn that the person who was texting was the same age?
Yes.
Okay. And he went to school with him?
Correct.
All right. Tell us about the approximate number of text messages between the shooter and his friend.
There was over 20,000 text messages between the two from January to the middle end of October.
Okay. So that sounds like a lot to me, but I'm not an expert in computer forensics. Give us an idea of what that scope is.
20,000. I mean, that printed over 5,000 pages of text. I've examined phones that someone's entire chat conversation with everybody they had is less than 20,000. So it's just a large volume.
To put it in comparison between, let's say, James and Jennifer's Facebook conversation,
I'm gonna go live
what's
for a
the
split
scope
second.
and the difference in size there?
I believe James and Jennifer was 10,000 text messages back and forth
Okay.
for that same time frame.
So same time frame, we have double the amount of text message communication between the shooter and his friend as James and Jennifer.
Correct.
Okay.
You said January to October, is that both 2021?
Yes, ma'am, I'm sorry.
Thank you, Judge. Yes, 2021.
Yes.
No, there were also, without going into detail, video shared as well.
Yes, it was.
Okay. And were some of the content
Can you
of the conversation of highly personal nature?
Yes, it was.
do this?
Now, in comparison to any other conversation
Sensei,
on the shooter's phone,
sorry.
what's the difference in size between that particular text thread
I see.
and everybody else's on the shooter's phone?
Let me go give you a one.
He had
I gotta
He had
go.
over 20,000 text messages with his one friend. And in comparison, there was, between anybody else, there was a combined, I want to say, less than 1,000 between anybody else that he had chatted with.
So combined, less than 1,000.
Yes,
And then that one friend was over 20,000.
correct.
Now, I'm going to show you just a very small portion of that, specifically April the 4th and April the 5th of 2021, which would be right about 2 weeks after the messages that we just saw between James and Jennifer Crumbly. This has been admitted as Exhibit 67. Names are redacted, obviously. Green is the shooter.
Correct.
Okay. Tell us what the shooter wrote April 4th, 2021, 11:56 at night.
Types, like I hear people talking to me, I see someone in the distance, and then he appears to try to correct the spelling of the word distance.
Okay. And April 4th, 2021, 11:56 and 50 seconds, what does he write?
I actually asked my dad to take me to the doctor yesterday, but he just gave me some pills and told me to suck it up.
And 11:57 p.m., what did he write?
He continues on with, like it's at the point that I'm asking to go to the doctor. And then he says, my mom laughed when I told her.
That was again 11:57 in the evening, April the 4th, 21.
Correct.
April 5th, 2021, this is just after midnight. What does he write?
He tells his friend, but I'm having bad insomnia right now, RN, and paranoia.
Okay. And then what does he write?
I need help.
That's at 12:11 a.m.
Correct.
And then at 12:12 a.m., what does he write?
I was thinking I calling 911 too so I can go to the hospital.
And continuing on, April 5th, 12 a.m., what does he write?
But then my parents would be really pissed.
And finally, 12:38 a.m., what does he write?
He says, I'm going to ask my parents to go to the doctor tomorrow, or Tuesday again. And he continues with, but this time I'm going to tell them about the voices.
And finally, he writes at 12:39 and 20 seconds, what?
Like I am mentally and physically dying.
Now, you discovered, we just mentioned, some videos on this text message thread between the shooter and that friend. Is that right?
That's correct.
So I'm going to now direct you to August the 19th of 2021. First of all, did some of those images that he shared depict firearms?
Yes, it did.
Okay. So this is exhibit 70 and 71. 70 is the text message itself. And what are we looking at here?
That's showing a video was sent to his friend.
Okay. So this is the same friend we're referring to at all times?
Correct, yes.
Okay. August 19th, 2021, 9:31 p.m. And the video is 71. Let me play that now. And that's August 19th, 2021. Do you know what he was handling in his hand?
That was a handgun.
This is exhibit 72 and 73. They've both been admitted. This is 8:20 a.m., 12:30 in the morning. So we're carrying over past midnight from the last video. 72 is this text bubble. So what are we seeing here?
Again, it's a text to his friend that he's been communicating with of another video over time.
Okay. And this indicates that video was sent to his friend?
Correct.
I'm going to play 73 now. Now, sir, do we see a round in that chamber?
Yes, there is.
Okay, when I say round in the chamber, what does that mean?
Bullet in the shell.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow.
And that was August the 20th.
I
Now, were you able to tell that the defendant or Jennifer Crumbly were actually inside the home when the video was taken?
Yes.
I'm referring to it all.
Correct, yes.
Okay. August 19th, 2021, 9:31 p.m. And the video is 71. Let me play that now. And that's August 19th, 2021. Do you know what he was handling in his hand?
That was a handgun.
This is exhibit 72 and 73. They've both been admitted. This is 8:20 a.m., 12:30 in the morning. So we're carrying over past midnight from the last video. 72 is this text bubble. So what are we seeing here?
Again, it's a text to his friend that he's been communicating with of another video over time.
Okay. And this indicates that video was sent to his friend?
Correct.
I'm going to play 73 now. Now, sir, do we see a round in that chamber?
Yes, there is.
Okay, when I say round in the chamber, what does that mean?
Bullet in the shell.
I can't even do that.
And that was
I haven't
August the
tried.
20th.
Man.
Now, were you able to tell that the defendant or Jennifer Crumbly were actually inside the home when the video was taken?
Yes.
I'm going to go through, and we talked earlier about how you're able to find certain location history.
Right.
Okay. So is it fair to say that you were able to do that for this specific date?
That's correct, yes.
So this is exhibit 74. Green, and so we're aware, green will always be James Crumbly's location. Purple will be Jennifer Crumbly. What are we looking at here in exhibit 74?
That's a GPS location that's captured by Google. This is the Gmail account, jamescrumbly8@gmail.com, in the upper right corner. And August 19th at 9:21 p.m.
Okay, so that's on East Street. Did you come to learn that the Crumbly family lived at 112 East in Oxford?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So that indicates at least that his device was at the location approximately the time the first video on August 19th was taken.
Correct.
Okay. So this is exhibit 75. This is purple again. So this would be Jennifer Crumbly.
Correct.
Tell us, please, what you see here.
Again, it's using the same Gmail account that they had. Her GPS location from Google was at 9:29 p.m. on August 19th.
Okay. And again, that's the first video that you saw.
Correct.
This is exhibit 76, specifically August the 20th, 2021, 12:32 a.m. What do we see here?
Again, another green circle indicating the location of James' device.
Okay. And this is approximately the same time the video of the loaded gun was sent.
Correct.
There's 77. What are we looking at here?
And it's the purple, which is Jennifer's on August 20th, and that's at 12:21 a.m.
Now, this is exhibit 72. This is part of that same conversation between the shooter and his friend.
Yes.
Okay. And this was August 20th, 21 at 12:32 a.m.
Correct.
Okay. So would that be right after that video was sent?
That's correct.
All right. What does the shooter write?
My dad left it out, so I thought. Why not? I will.
Sorry about that. If you're watching
Now, during the course of
video,
your
and it
investigation,
is a
did you come to
trigger
learn
for
that
you,
this friend the shooter was
please do not watch.
communicating with abruptly
Okay.
left the state of Michigan?
Yes.
Okay. And did you learn if that was done without notice to the shooter?
Correct.
And what did you base that belief on?
James had reached out to the father of the shooter's friend, asking if everything was okay, and then the father of the friend told what was going on.
I'm going to show you exhibit 79. This is a text message from that you recovered off of James Crumbley's phone.
Correct.
Okay, and again, names are redacted here. Did you
Correct.
come to learn that this is the father of the shooter's friend?
Yes.
Okay. And what's the date here?
This is on October 30th, 2021.
Okay, at 9:52 p.m. What did he write?
He wrote, "Hey Mark, sorry for the late text. Hope the family is well. Just wanted to check in and make sure everything is okay with the shooter's friend. Ethan's been trying to get a hold of him for a few days. Did not know if his phone was taken away, maybe, but just checking in. Ethan wanted to be with his friend for Halloween if he's okay."
Now, we have this in the same conversation for context. This is October 30th.
Okay, guys. What's happening here is in one of the defenses of the mental state of the shooter, and I don't like using his name, was that his best and only friend, he had no friends other than this one kid, was removed, and they moved and put him in a different school, residential treatment school type facility. And this was supposedly one of the triggers that started the spiral of an emotional and mental spiral that the shooter was on when he went to the school and shot the victims.
11:01 p.m. This was in response to that text?
Correct.
Okay. And what did he say?
He says, "Hey James, thanks for checking in on him. Unfortunately, his friend is in a bad place with the OCD, unable to go to school most of this week. We are taking him out to Wisconsin tomorrow to put him in residential treatment. He'll be gone for 60 or 90 days. By far the hardest decision we've had to make. So he probably doesn't know how to approach it with Ethan or what to say. I think he's probably embarrassed about the situation, and there's a reason he is not answering. Let me talk to a friend. I wasn't aware that he wasn't talking to anyone."
Okay. And then there was another text after?
Yes. He responds, "Sorry for the delayed response."
Okay. And 10:30:21 and at 11:03 p.m.
The father of the friend says, "Let me talk to him and see how he wants to approach it with Ethan."
Okay. And then what was James' response?
James responds with, "Mark, please let me know if there's any way at all we can help. He is a great kid and always great over here and very welcome at all times. Please let me know if we can help."
So that's October 30th, 2021, and 11:10 p.m.
Correct.
Now, I want to talk to move into November of 2021. Did you find any information regarding James Crumbley's employment status?
Yes.
Okay. And tell us specifically regarding November of 21, what did you find?
That he had lost his job on the first of the month.
Okay. And did he subsequently find another job?
Yes, he did.
And do you recall when that was?
Shortly thereafter, he started door dashing.
Okay. This is exhibit, oh, I'm sorry, we're still on page, exhibit 79. The response to James Crumbly's text was what?
Always, the dad of the friend says, thank you, he loves you guys. Hopefully we can get him better, and he can spend some time over here too. He has to voluntarily go, so there's a chance he may not be admitted. If you don't mind for now, if Ethan asks, tell him he had to go out of town unexpectedly. If he gets admitted, then we can give him full disclosure. Is that all right?
So here's exhibit 81. This is you mentioned he was door dashing?
Correct.
Okay. And you executed, well, you were part of the investigators who obtained information from DoorDash via search warrant?
Yes.
Okay. And with DoorDash, if you are a driver for DoorDash, you install an application on your phone?
Correct.
And did James Crumbly have that on his phone?
Yes, he did.
And so what is this in 81?
That's just from one of the things that is pulled out when we extract data, pull data off the phone. It's installed application, and it just tells us that that app was installed, the Dasher app was installed on his phone on November 9th.
Okay. So that's when he would have put the application on the phone to start receiving orders to be a DoorDash driver.
Correct.
So this is November 9th, 2021 at 8:35 p.m.
Correct.
All right. Now, did you come to learn that he also received messages when he logged in and began picking up orders?
Yes.
Did you find any evidence that suggests that he worked anywhere else but DoorDash in the month of November 2021?
No, I did not.
And based upon his location history and other information you obtained from his phone, did you come to learn if when he did work beforehand, he was away from the house or in the home?
He was in the home.
Now, what about the shooter's digital footprint in the month of November 2021 after his friend left? When you reviewed the phone, the shooter's phone, for that month in particular, did you find any evidence of the shooter being in contact with anybody else, any other peer?
No, he did not communicate with hardly anybody at all.
Any evidence, either GPS pings, pictures, social media posts, text messages, anything to suggest that he met up with anybody outside of school?
No, if I remember correctly, there was, for the whole month of November, there was only 48 total text messages from the 1st to the 30th.
Okay. And what did those text messages include?
Combined 6 of them were to James and Jennifer. And then the rest were, I remember seeing, he was accessing some app, maybe doing homework or something, trying to find, it appeared like he would text it, maybe a math problem or something, and send it the answer. I'm not entirely certain, but that's what it looked like.
Okay. But no evidence of plans to meet with a friend outside of school or anything
Objection,
like
Your Honor,
that?
asked and answered.
I don't think I asked that one.
Keep going.
Okay. No, sir. When I talk about cached data, what does that term mean?
Cache data is data that's stored in a temporary file for your device, whether it's a phone or a computer, to pull that information back again quickly. Whether it's recently viewed or something you look at a lot, the computer can do it quicker. Because it knows it has to go to this one folder instead of re-downloading it.
Okay. So I understand it. Does that mean if it's does every phone have a certain area of storage of cache data?
Yes, and every app, just depending on what the app is, it would have its own folder of cache data. Yes.
Okay. So if there's something, for example, an image in cache data, what does that indicate to you as a forensic examiner?
It would imply that someone had to, it would have had to been on their phone that would have seen it.
Okay. Now, what does it mean if two people have the same cache data on their phone for an image?
One either would have sent it to the other one, or they randomly looked at the same picture.
When examining the phone of the shooter and examining the phone of James Crumbly, did you find any images in common in cache data?
Yes.
Now, I want to specifically take you to exhibits 82 and 83. It's in the extraction report and a screenshot. So first of all, 82 is the extraction report. This is a snippet of that, please. Tell me what that means.
On 82?
Yes.
Where the file info is and stuff?
Yes.
That shows the name of that image.
I didn't expect this or to see this coming, so just FYI, once again, we have a trigger warning, sensitive material. You will be seeing weapons. You will be hearing about them being talked about. If this is a trigger for you, please, it's okay for you to not watch this portion of the trial, and then you can come back in and fast forward through this part. I'm trying to be as sensitive as I can to everybody. So if you are triggered easily by weapons, I'd advise you to just step away for a moment. Thank you.
When either you take a screenshot of something, it's going to name it real quickly, or you receive it, it'll name it real quickly so we can track it within your device. And then where it says path, that's the file path that often tells you what happened, how something got on a computer, on a phone, is by reading the file path.
So let's talk about file path for a second. Now, anytime you, as an expert in computer forensics and cell phone forensics, you're looking to find how a piece of data got on the phone. Is that right?
That's correct, yes.
Okay. And so how does the file path aid you in that?
It just tells, that right there tells us what they, like this one, for example, on the screen. It says Android messaging. I know this was done using the Android messaging app.
Okay, so this is from the shooter's phone, and the file path you said had Android messaging?
Correct. At the second line at the top, it says Power Archive, and then data / and then com, Android messaging /.
Okay. Now, if something is found in cache data as opposed to just scrolling through the phone to find the image, what does that mean to you?
That they would have seen it on the phone before.
Okay. But why wouldn't you be able to find it just in messages?
Probably, if it was deleted.
Okay. So this is on the shooter's phone, and we have the forensic footprint of this image.
Correct.
And the image itself in Exhibit 83.
Correct.
Okay, so what is the exhibit itself in 83?
That tells you right there, that's a screenshot. Because at the top of it, you can see the top part of your phone. Usually it has a time up there, and the battery life and the antenna strength that you have, and you can see it at the top of that image.
Okay. So the screenshot here is
Right here where my
1239.
arrow is.
And
Right
we have the
there.
extraction report in 82 to verify it's Monday, the 8th of November,
I'll be right back,
2021,
y'all.
12:39 p.m. So that matches the screenshot.
Correct, it does.
And because Exhibit 82 has the actual time and date stamp with the UTC -5 that matches the screenshot, what does that mean to you?
That image, that's the image that was sent with that.
Okay. And this is on the shooter's phone.
Correct.
All right, so this is, this also has the file path here at 12:40 p.m. Tell me what we're looking at here.
This one, so this file path is a little different. Again, starting where you see the word path on the screen there, and then going over, second line from under tar archive, it's the tct.cs.rcs. And the RCS tells me that that is rich content, and that's Android's way of being able to either share large files, to know, a lot of people have Apple phone, you can tell if someone's texting you back. That RCS feature allows Android phones to do the same thing.
Okay. So as the forensic examiner, you can tell us that that screenshot was sent by the defendant's phone by the shooter's phone based upon the file path?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay. Now here's exhibits 85 and 86. This is from James Crumbly's phone. What are we looking at here?
On the right side is, the left side, I apologize, is the extraction information that was given, the name that was given in the file path, and then the screenshot again on the right side.
Okay, exhibit 85, the extraction report here. It has the date and time. It's November the 8th, 2021, but this is 12:40 p.m., so that's later in time than what was found on the shooter's phone.
Correct.
Is that right?
Correct, so, okay.
But it's the same screenshot?
Correct, it is.
Now, did you find either screenshot of the 9mm, so price $299.99, used Smith & Wesson SD9VE in very good condition, comes with 2 16-round magazines and cleaning kit with an image of a firearm, is that right?
Correct.
Okay, did you find that screenshot in either messaging from James Crumbly or the shooter?
From James Crumbly?
Yes.
No.
Okay. But did you find it anywhere else in the phone other than the cache sheet?
No, I did not.
Okay. Have you seen reference to SD9VE 9mm elsewhere in this case?
Yes,
Where?
and the shooter's journal.
Okay. And again, because it's found in cache data, nowhere else, what does that mean to you?
That it would have one time been on the phone. As you're opening the text message, your phone's going to save that image so you can look at it if they want to open it up. So the fact that it's in the cache data tells me that they had opened it up
Okay.
to see it.
Now, is it possible to recover deleted content from a phone?
Potentially.
Tell me why.
Each Android phones are different. So depending on the manufacturer of the phone, whether you have either a high-end phone or a simple throwaway phone that you buy at Walmart, the Android operating system can be changed to suit the manufacturer or the reseller's specifications. So if you want to sell a cheaper-end phone that doesn't have all the functionalities of a higher-end phone, usually doesn't have the features to be able to store longer content or retrieve deleted content.
Okay. So it's nothing to do with your forensic tools per se, it's just on the manufacturer?
Correct.
Is it more likely to recover deleted messages after both users delete the message?
No. Is it more difficult?
Yeah.
Correct. Yes.
Okay. So the fact that this was found in cache data and nowhere else, that's significant too.
Yes.
Why?
It was on the phone at one time and now it's not there.
Did all the Crumbleys have Androids?
Yes, they did.
I'm going to direct your attention now to the days before the shooting. Let's start with November the 26th, 2021. Now, sir, given the tools available at your disposal and the information you're able to pull from, I'm going to ask you to build as best you can a digital footprint of the Crumblies from the 26th to the 30th.
Okay.
Now, are you familiar with the firearm purchase of the 6-hour 9mm on November the 26th, 2021?
Yes.
Now, based upon data locations and other information that you were able to retrieve in your investigation, are you able to tell us approximately when that purchase occurred?
Yes.
When?
It was between 1 and 2 p.m.
Well, I'm going to show you Exhibit 87 here. This is data location from 12:08 p.m. on 11/26/21. So what are we looking at right here?
I apologize. It was between 12 and 1 p.m. They were at the gun check, or the gun store.
Okay. So this location here verifies that James Crumbley's device was at that firearm store where the 6-hour was purchased that day?
Correct. Yes.
And this is Exhibit 88. This is 12:57 p.m. And we can see East Street as far as where we're oriented towards the map. What are we looking at here?
That shows James Crumbley's location relative to his house at 112 East Street.
Okay. So what can you surmise from these data points?
That this one in particular, the larger the circle is, the more I don't want to say less accurate. The larger the range of where the device should be. This one in particular is 62 meters from that point. So he could be anywhere within 60 meters of that point there near his house.
Okay. So because we have a more narrow point in Exhibit 87, we can be reasonably assured that the device was at the fire store from 12:08, and then at 12:57, he was getting within 62 meters of his house?
Correct.
Okay. Now, to the extent possible, I'd like us to go through what the Crumbly family did after the purchase of that firearm on November the 26th. Tell us what you saw on their phones, what they did after the gun was purchased.
They went Christmas tree shopping. There are pictures of it.
Sir, when someone takes a picture of something, is there a way to tell where and when that picture was taken?
Usually, yes.
Tell me what.
So a picture that's taken with your phone or even a camera that you might have, a Canon camera, captures what's called metadata. You usually tell your phone to do it. And metadata is data within data. It's so that the main information here that you see on the screen is of a map. Well, embedded in that could be how that map was made, like the camera that took the picture, maybe the computer that took the picture, how even the screenshot was made. That's information that you don't see. That's the metadata.
So we're looking at exhibits 89 and 90 here. So 89 is the metadata, 90 is the photograph itself. Tell us what we're looking at here.
That's was taken from the shooter's phone. He's holding a handgun that was purchased on the 26th.
And the handgun on the grip there, so it's 6-hour?
Correct, it is.
Okay. And so when and where was this picture taken?
This was taken at the Crumbly home on November 26th.
And what time?
at 1:03 p.m.
Okay, so we saw from the location history that James Crumbly was almost at his house at 12:57 p.m. And this photograph was taken 6 minutes later.
Correct.
Now, did the shooter post anything on Instagram with regards to this fire?
He posted pictures of him holding the gun and then telling people, ask questions, no answer.
So here's Exhibit 95. What do we see here?
That's the Instagram post where the shooter wrote, "Just got my new beauty today, heart eye emoji, 6 hour, 9mm, ask questions, I will answer."
And when was this post made?
In the bottom left corner, you can see it was November 26th, 2021, and it says 1806, which is 606, UTC. And that's what I was talking about, we're -5 for 4 hours. So in November, we're -5 hours, so it's taken at 306.
All right, here is also Exhibit 95. What do we see here?
I apologize, it was 106 I was taking.
106.
Minus
I was going to correct your math, but
yes, I apologize. Another picture of him holding it in his hand, and that was taken shortly after at 106 p.m.
okay, so same caption of the post, different photograph.
Correct.
All right, and here is, again, same time, same caption.
Yes, just looking down the sights of the gun.
Okay. We see 3 dots at the top of the fire, and what is that?
Those are the sights of the gun. The two on the outside, in the front post. If you don't know, you line those up. It's called your sight picture. You get those 3 dots in a line. If you have people light on either side, it's where your round's going to go. And he's just practicing lining up the sights.
And that's lined up in a way where he would fire the way you would want it to. Would that be right?
Put it around right below again.
And same caption, just got my new beauty today, 6 hour.
I am not sure what happened here, y'all. It just stopped. Oh, they had a technical glitch. Okay, so we'll just scrub forward. That's why I like being behind a little bit. Let me just go ahead and put me on.
She posted the target that she had shot and posted with it, "Mom and Sunday testing on his new Xmas present. My first time shooting a 9mm, I hit the bullseye."
So that is how close in time in relation to what her son posted?
Within 1 minute.
Now this is another photograph here, same post,
Yes.
same time.
Yes, it is.
And finally, what do we see here?
That's the 6 hour handgun right there with the magazines and the pamphlet.
So because all 3 indicate Mom and Sunday testing out his new Xmas present, my first time shooting a 9mm, I hit the bullseye. Does that indicate those 3 pictures were posted together?
Yes, it would.
Here's Exhibit 102 here. This is 2:03 p.m. What do we see here?
This is Jennifer at her house at 9:27 at 2:03 p.m.
Okay, and so that's practically the same time those photographs, those posts were, those images were posted?
Correct.
So the fact that they were posted on her device or her social media accounts through her device, and we have a device location here, what does that mean to you?
That she was at her house when she made that post.
Okay. And were you able to tell if James Crumbly saw these images?
Yes.
Here's Exhibit 103. What are we looking at here?
This is data information from the cell phone extraction. And again, back in the file path that I talked about, you can see the 3rd line down in the 2nd column. You see com.facebook.com/hash, indicating that it's in the cache folder.
Okay. So like the screenshot of a Smith & Wesson 9mm sent by his son to him, these images were also found in the cache folder?
Correct.
Now, we will obtain data locations from James Crumbly's Gmail account for November the 27th, 2021.
Yes.
Okay, and that help you identify where he was that day?
Yes.
Okay. So we'll go through exhibits 104 through 107. Here's 104. What do we see here?
It shows James' location. It's near the gas station, the minor. Radio is 21.
Okay, and we already talked about at this point in time he was working for DoorDash.
Correct.
And we already identified the fact that when there was an order ready, he would receive a text message from the DoorDash app.
Correct.
Okay, so were you able to tell what he was doing that day?
Yes.
What was he doing?
He was door dashing.
Okay. So 9:37 a.m. indicates one position where he's at, and looks like he's back home at 5:32 p.m.
Correct.
And here's exhibit 106. It's about 6:03 p.m. He's out of the house then.
Correct.
Okay. And 6:33 back home.
Correct.
Now, what about Jennifer's locations from that day? Were you able to obtain any idea where she was that day?
Yes.
Okay. This is exhibit 108. What do we see here?
It's the purple dot indicating Jennifer's location.
Okay. So we have 2:29 p.m. to 3:32 p.m. and locations outside of the home that would indicate what to you.
She was at home. Out and about.
Okay, just to make sure I'm clear, on the 27th, we see James Crumbly leaving home about 9:37 a.m., returning at 5:32 p.m., leaving again at 6:03 p.m., home again at 6:33 p.m.
Correct.
And the same day, Jennifer's gone from about 2:30 p.m. to 3:30 p.m.
Correct.
Now, Sunday, November the 28th. This is exhibit 109. Tell us what we're looking at here.
That is GPS location for Jennifer on November 28th at 12 p.m.
So she's obviously away from her home. Do you know what that is location?
Yeah, that's where the horse farm is.
Now, you say horse farm. You went through all of the digital evidence in the case,
Correct.
okay, including the Facebook messages between James and Jennifer,
Correct.
the messages from James to anyone else, or Jennifer to anybody else.
Correct.
Okay. Are you aware of James and Jennifer spending time at the horse farm?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and tell me how you're aware of it.
Your Honor, I'm going to object to relevance.
We addressed this, Judge. You addressed it in your earlier opinion as well.
I think you did. Yeah, I'm going to allow it. I think your objection gets to wait.
Thank you, Judge. How are you able to know that, Judge?
But how many times they talked about whether we're going to the barn to do this, or work on this horse, or take care of that horse? Yes.
Okay. Give us an idea of how many times they talked about it.
They talked. It was mentioned within their chats 86 times of going to the barn.
Oh, I'm sorry, what period of time?
That was from January to November.
From that conversation, we're able to tell if they would go together or if they had a plan.
Both. They would go take care. One would go take care of a horse when they meet up together.
Here is Exhibit 110. This is Sunday the 28th at 2:07 p.m. This is at the Crumbly family home?
Correct.
Okay. So these last two pieces of the exhibit indicate that Jennifer Crumbly was at the horse barn from approximately noon to whenever she left, arriving home at 2:07.
Correct.
And that's the Sunday after that firearm, the 9mm, was purchased.
Correct.
Now let's talk about James' data location points. Here's Exhibit 111. What do we have here?
It shows his location near at the Meyer gas station again.
Okay, and tell us what he was doing that day from your review of the digital evidence.
That day he was door dashing again.
So this is a data point at 8:56 a.m. Exhibit 112 is 12:45 p.m. Here's he's back at the house.
Correct.
Does he leave again?
Yes, he does.
Okay, here's 113. Exhibit 113 at 12:52 p.m. What do we see here?
It shows him going away from the house.
Okay, and Exhibit 114. What do we have here?
At 5:13 p.m., he's back at the house.
Okay. So all this tells me that James left at 8:56 a.m., returned at 12:45 p.m. He left again 7 minutes later and returned 5:33 p.m.
That's correct.
Okay. Now I want to move on to Monday, the next day, Monday, November the 29th. I'm going to talk about a Facebook conversation between James and Jennifer Crumbley from that day. So this is Exhibit 115. Jennifer Crumbley at 8:23 a.m. Monday, November the 29th. Are you at the barn? And then follow up with just a question mark at 9:02 a.m. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. So again, blue is Jennifer, green would be James.
Yes, sir.
Okay. When you mentioned like those 86 times you talked about the barn, is this what you were referring to?
Yes, yes.
Was this a portion of what you were referring to?
Correct.
James's response was what at 9:05 a.m.?
Working on building.
Okay. And did you come? Who's Bill? Did you?
It was one of the horses.
This is also part of 115. What did James send to Jennifer?
He sent a photo. It's the horse's legs.
Okay. And Jennifer's response?
Do the fronts too.
So that's 9:21 a.m. on Monday, November the 29th. What did Jennifer write to James after that?
She asked him, "Did you call him back yet?" And then tells him, "Make sure you get back in between his steel bulbs."
And James's response was, I did at 9:34, then fronts 2 right after.
Correct.
And James wrote what at 9:35?
He says, "What exactly should I tell the vet? Type out for me, leaving the barn now."
Okay. And Jennifer's response was what?
Billy looks to have scratches / mud fever. He's starting to stock up on all fours and concerned about infection. He's not lame, sensitive to the touch, and they go down when he moves. Is there an antibiotic I can get him on? We just put Desitin, an antibacterial, on his legs today.
Okay. And then she wrote what?
She asked, was he stocked up this morning?
Okay. So that was 9:41 a.m.
Correct.
And James's response at 9:43?
He responds back, look, he was stocked up more in the back than in the front. In fact, the front didn't really look stocked up at all, so I launched them for a few minutes before. I put the stuff on it, and it took the swelling down a little bit. But I got that cream all over, in between the seal bulbs and stuff like that. I'll call it back here in a minute.
Okay. And then you wrote, talk to text, FYI, so I have no idea what I really just said.
Yes.
Jennifer, it made sense, LOL, at 9:58. And then James's response at 9:59?
James responds with, I just talked to the vet, Carrie. Says she's going to talk to the vet once one of them get back in, and she will give me a call back. I explained everything exactly how you wrote it down. Good thing you wrote it down like that, LOL, for me.
Okay. And her response was, okay, good, LOL.
Correct.
Okay, so this conversation regarding the barn and the vet started at 8:23 a.m. and it went until 10:15 a.m.
Correct.
Okay. Did you come to learn if a message was left for Jennifer Crumbly while this conversation was going on between James and Jennifer?
Yes, it was.
This is Exhibit 116. Ms. Williams, do we have the volume up?
Hi, Ms. Crumbley. My name is Pam Fine. I'm calling from Oxford High School, and I'm here with Mr. Hopkins, who's Ethan's counselor. I was just calling to let you know that we just spoke with Ethan, had a really nice conversation. One of his teachers had sent an email to the office that she was concerned with Ethan when she was walking around the room, checking his silence, that he was on his phone looking at bullets and that sort of thing. So she just wanted us to have a conversation. We did. He said he had been to the shooting range with you this weekend, and we were like, yep, guns are a hobby for a lot of people, and shooting ranges, and that's perfectly normal. And that we just wanted to make sure I had a conversation with him about the things he searches at school, and things versus searching at home. Like Mr. Hopkins gave a good example of like if a teacher makes beer at home, perfectly normal and healthy, but can't be using searches for making beer at school. So we had a conversation. He was great. He was like, yep, I get it. So I just wanted to let you know that we did have that conversation with him, and I don't know, about 5 minutes, and he went back to class. All right, if you have any questions, you can give me a call. Otherwise, I hope you have a great holiday. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Okay, so that was November the 29th, 2021. Did you find evidence that Jennifer Crumbley accessed that voicemail?
Yes, she did.
Is that depicted here in People's Exhibit 117?
Yes.
Could you find from the messages between James and Jennifer who picked their son up from school that day?
Ethan did. I apologize. Changed it.
Here's Exhibit 120. This is Jennifer Crumbley. You still working? 2:44 p.m. James says no, waiting for their son. 2:47. Okay. And 119. This is later on. What does Jennifer write to James?
She asked you, did Ethan tell you what happened today?
Okay. And that's the same afternoon that the voicemail was left.
Correct.
Okay. And James's response
Was yeah.
Now we're going to move on to November the 30th. We'll go step by step from what you were able to discern from all of the evidence that you had to review with this phone. So in the morning, November 30th, were you able to tell what time the shooter was dropped off at school?
After 7:30 p.m. What a.m.?
So were you able to pull surveillance video for this? This is Exhibit 122. 7:46 a.m. on the 30th?
Correct.
Like I've said before, guys, this is just, there's not much for me to comment on this. This is just facts. This is a lot of metadata and information that there's nothing for me to say. But I will tell you, that looks like a very cold and rainy, wet day. Snow. I didn't realize they had snow. So anyway,
Tell us when you recognize him, please.
He got up for a second.
I am doing a little lunch break here. I apologize. I am eating. So there he is.
He was dropped off.
That
by his father?
backpack is what has the gun in it. Now, when he was in the counseling offices with his mother and father earlier in the day, and you'll see why, the counselor noted that the backpack was unusually heavy,
Exhibit
but they never
123. Tell
looked
us
inside.
where James Crumbley went after that.
At 8:04 a.m. he was at home.
Okay. And then Exhibit 124. Where was he?
At the horse farm again.
Okay. So 9:04 a.m. So 7:46 a.m. he dropped off his son. He was home at 8:04 a.m. He's at the horse barn by 9:04.
Correct.
Do you know what time that Jennifer Crumbley got to work?
About the same time. 9:04.
So this is what we're looking at here.
That's Jennifer walking into her replacement appointment.
This is Exhibit 125.
Yes.
Okay. And this is November 30, 2021 at 9:04 a.m.
Correct.
Now, do you know if you received a phone call shortly after arriving?
Yes, she did.
So Exhibit 126. What do we have here?
That's from the call log obtained from her phone from the school.
Okay. So we have a missed call at 9:24 a.m. on November the 30th,
Correct.
and then we have a return call. What time?
9:27 a.m.
And how long is that phone call?
That's 5 minutes, almost 6 minutes.
So is that 5:43? It's 5 minutes and 43 seconds.
Yes, it is.
Now, next in the timeline, 9:31 a.m. What are we looking at here?
That's the screenshot or picture of a map homework. That's the owner that the shooter had.
Okay. So this was sent to whom?
To Jennifer.
To Jennifer Crumbley?
Yes.
Exhibit 128. What's this?
That's the full-size image of it. The map.
So did you come to learn there were actually two different math worksheets?
Yes.
Okay. And this is referred to as the altered one?
Correct. It is.
So this was sent to Jennifer Crumbley at 9:31?
Correct.
It's Exhibit 128. Exhibit 129 is what?
That appears to be an email of the map worksheet.
Here's Exhibit 30. This is what contained in the email?
Yes. That's the original.
So this was emailed to Jennifer Crumbley at 9:32 a.m. Is that right?
Correct.
And the scratched out version was texted to her at 9:31.
Correct.
Sorry, I'm going to back up for a second. This is the second picture. I think this is the one that the teacher found. I think they kind of, I don't know who scribbled through it later. I think they scribbled through a copy of it. I'm assuming that they did a photocopy of it, and then because it was being text, kind of did some editing. But this is a gun. The thoughts won't stop. Help me. Blood everywhere. There's a bullet. There's a gun. There is a individual shot multiple times, and then this here is blood from a head, like a victim. And this was taken away from him November 30th, 2021 at either 59 or 39 a.m., probably 59 a.m. This is the evidence, I think, that really hits home that if I had a child and that was on his paperwork, he would not be in school. My personal humble opinion.
This was emailed to Jennifer Crumbly at 9:32 a.m. Is that right?
Correct.
And the scratched out version was texted to her at 9:31 a.m.
Correct.
Now this is Exhibit 131. This is at 9:33 a.m. So this is 1 minute after that original drawing was sent to Jennifer Crumbly. What are we looking at?
Jennifer telling James, call now, emergency.
Okay.
And she says again, emergency, 2 minutes later.
And then at 9:38 a.m., what does she send?
She sends the two pictures of the map worksheet.
Okay. So the one that's scratched out in the original, the both
Correct.
that were sent to Jennifer?
Yes.
And James's response at 9:44 a.m.
James responded with, my God, WTF.
And then what?
Vet not here yet. It's McElmurray for Kira's horse, still waiting on vet.
Okay. So we saw earlier that his location indicated he was at the barn by at least 9:04 a.m.
Correct.
Okay. And this was at 9:45 a.m.
Correct.
And what did Jennifer write?
Responded back with, he said he was distraught about last night.
James?
James says, we talked about it this morning. Then he asked, you talked to him, question mark.
And what did Jennifer respond?
Responded with, can you call?
That's 9:57 a.m.
Correct.
Okay. And what does Jennifer write at 10:04 a.m.?
She says, heading to a school, I'm very concerned.
And that's at 10:04 a.m. on November the 30th,
Not concerned enough
2020.
to take him out of school? If they had taken him out of school, this none
Did
of
you
this
learn
would
that they
have
both
happened.
arrived
I
at
would have
Oxford
taken
High
him home
School?
that day.
Yes, they did.
And did you learn approximately the time they arrived?
Yes.
What time is that?
10:30, 10:36.
This is Exhibit 132. 9:36 a.m. You see James' location history that's still at the barn.
Correct.
Okay. And 1:34. This is the same surveillance footage that we saw Jennifer Crumbley arriving at work at 9:04 a.m. This is at 10:06 a.m.
Correct.
Okay. And is this consistent with what we just saw in those Facebook messages when she wrote heading to school?
Correct.
Okay. This is Exhibit 126. What do we see here?
It's a call to the school, to the counselor from Jennifer.
Okay, so she left at 10:04, then at 10:07, she called the same counselor, called her,
Correct.
and Exhibit 131 headed to a school at 10:12. So that would be the timeline for that period of day.
Correct.
So do we have an idea of, you said about after 10:30 a.m. that meeting occurred?
Correct.
Okay, and so is this what you base that opinion on?
Correct. Yes.
All right, so what do we see here at Exhibit 135?
What you see at the top of it is the horse barn, and then he takes a path down Gardner Road, and then heads to high school.
Okay. So if I'm correct, what we just saw, Jennifer arrived at work. Well, first of all, the shooter was up at school at 7:46 a.m. by his father.
Correct.
He went to the horse barn at 9:04.
Correct.
Jennifer arrived at her place of employment about the same time, 9:04.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And she received a phone call at 9:24.
Correct.
Then we saw the messages sent from her counselor, and the phone call from her counselor, and the messages thereafter with those two drawings.
Yes, sir.
And then the Facebook messages directly after to James with those two drawings.
Correct.
And this shows when he left the horse barn and about the time he arrived at Oxford High School.
Correct.
Now, did he stop by his house before he went to the meeting?
No.
Jennifer stopped by the house before she went to the meeting.
No, sir.
Did they go in one car or separate cars?
They were separate cars.
Okay. Now, we had discussed this particular aspect of the case in a separate hearing some time ago, and there was an original belief that they arrived in one car.
Correct.
Okay, you came to learn that they arrived in two different cars.
Object, Your Honor, leading.
Again, it's just foundation. So. Tell me that.
When I originally watched the video, the system that the school has, it's not continually reporting. It only reports when there's enough movement in the frame. So if they're too far a distance away, it's not going to report, even though there might be somebody walking across the parking lot, the sensor don't pick it up. And it didn't, once I saw the second car, right, well, it was the first car, pulling to a parking spot, the next thing I saw was two people standing in front of it. So I assumed that they had come out of that car together.
So, keeping with our timeline here, 10:29 a.m., we have a call log of what we see here.
James calling Jennifer,
And how long was that phone call?
7 minutes and 16 seconds.
And based upon what you found on the video and the messages and data locations, this is before they arrived at school?
Yes.
Now, you were able to pull the surveillance footage of both vehicles arriving and their movements while inside the Oxford High School, at least that were contained on surveillance video, is that right?
Correct.
Okay, so this is Exhibit 137. I'm going to play this. And just so we know, at the bottom of the screen here, we have a description of the camera, what it's looking at with the time.
Correct.
So this is 10:36 a.m. on November the 30th, 2021.
Correct.
Okay. And this, what are we looking at right here?
At the parking lot of the school on the north side of the school.
And sir, whenever you're able to, give us some context of what we're looking at.
I come to find out that that's Jennifer pulling up right there. And that,
Okay.
and there's James and Jennifer walking up to the school.
Right here?
Yes.
Jennifer, the wife, has put on a considerable amount of weight. She was held in before trial because they couldn't bond out due to stress.
So this is James Jennifer
eating.
Crumbley in the Oxford High School today?
Yes.
Put on a lot of weight. I had someone ask that didn't
And the
look
bottom of the
like
screen there is
her
10:39 a.m.
and
Correct.
prior to being put in jail. Unfortunately, prison food is super high in calories, not healthy, and that is a concern that she had with her weight gain.
Just
So
wanna
if you
make
look
sure
at
you get time for a
images
short
of
break before we
her
find to take one.
during her trial, she is considerably much heavier.
That's fine, Your Honor.
All right, so I'm going to let you sit down, but you have to session testimony very good. All right? So just about a 10-minute break, okay?
All right, for the jury.
Okay, so we're going to take a little break here. While they take a break, I'm going to scrub forward and see. Here we go. I'm not going to. They're talking. Okay, so before we continue, I know I've been real quiet on this. I think a lot of this just needs to soak in. Like I said, it's just foundational at this point. Usually the first day or trial or so is usually not the big aha bang moments. Usually it's just a lot of information. Right now we're looking at metadata. The man who's on the stand is a cell phone and computer metadata type guy. He's just laying the timeline. A lot of cases will do what's called a timeline for leading up to the event. That is what they're doing here. I understand it's not a whole lot of interesting information for some people, but it's very important to the jury so they have an understanding of the events leading up to the day. And the point that we're getting to right now, when both parents show up, to me is the most interesting part of the trial from here forward. Yes, they bought him the gun. Yes, he had the gun and learned how to shoot the gun. They took him to the shooting range, which, you know, I live in Texas and people go to the shooting range with their children all the time. But I think part of the problem here is that they knew of his mental status. They knew he was extremely isolated and depressed, and they did not take measures to appropriately secure the weapons, and that's what part of the claim is. So at this point, they're going to be talking about the meeting and moving forward through the rest of the day. I don't see us really getting any witnesses today that's really going to give us any other information other than the metadata type stuff. I will not be here tomorrow, but I will be back on Monday. So I don't know if court's on tomorrow or not. We'll find out. So let's go ahead and start. I've picked up where they came back to court.
That's right.
This is at 10:39 in the morning. You identified both James and Jennifer Crumbly in Oxford High School.
Right.
Okay. So this was a surveillance video pulled from that day and that time?
That's right.
Okay. Now the clock here that says 12:42, that's incorrect.
Right, it never changes.
Okay. So the actual time is in the yellow at the bottom of the video. It just turned 10:40 in the morning.
That's right, yes.
Okay, thank you. And did you come to learn who this person was that greeted James and Jennifer Crumbly?
Yeah, it's school counselor.
Okay.
So both of the parents were called in, or the parent, one of them and or both were called in, and now they're meeting with the school counselor.
It just skipped now from 10:41 to 10:52 a.m. Same view, same exhibit. Who do we see leaving the office?
That's the shooter.
And that's 10:52 a.m.
Correct.
So what gets me is the shooter left the office and they were there only 10 minutes. This is a very serious situation here. Even if there wasn't a shooting, his mental state was definitely not in the best of places. And so the shooter leaves the counselor's office. And now comes the parents.
10:53 a.m. Who do we see?
That's James Jennifer.
So about 12 minutes. 12 minutes.
Is this James and Jennifer Crumbly?
Yes,
They both leave the office.
And they're walking out the counselor's office?
correct. Back to the front.
Wow.
At one point in time, James Crumbly was holding a white piece of paper. Now it appears Jennifer Crumbly's holding that. Is that
So
right?
they were
Yes,
given a
right,
piece of
yes,
paper,
right.
from what I
You just took it back
understand,
from her?
Right,
with
yeah.
some references for therapy
So
and
they leave the building
other kind of help.
10:54 a.m.
Nice school. If you look where my pointer is, you can see them right here. I'm circling them. I know it's kind of hard. It's gray on gray. And they're going down to their vehicle right there. Here's their vehicle right here. Here's one vehicle leaving, and the other one should leave shortly. There's the father. He's now walking to his car. Looks like he's holding the paper. Yeah, he's got the resource paper that the counselor gave. So they were there
So this is 10:57 in the
about
morning.
15 minutes.
Correct.
And let me know when you see James Crumbly's vehicle leave.
Here it starts right there.
Oh, there she goes. There she's leaving. Didn't stay very long.
Okay, did James Crumbly stop by his house after that meeting?
No, we got
20 minutes.
We'll move on to, we'll go to exhibit 140. This is the location data at 11 a.m. We're at,
that Meyer
okay. And that's November 30th, 11 a.m. And that Meyer is where?
to the west of the school, just down the street.
Is that the Meyer you posted about earlier
Yes, it is.
today? Okay, so that's the Meyer you went to on that same day.
Correct, yes.
Okay. And do you know what he does there?
I know he sits there for a while, for a little bit. I think he starts door dashing.
Did he log on to DoorDash yet at that point?
Yes.
Here's 1:41. This is 11:24 a.m. And this is the same surveillance footage of Jennifer Crumbly's employer.
Correct. Coming back to work.
So she's back to work at 11:24.
Correct.
Okay, so this is Exhibit 142. I'm going to go to a Zoom version here. This is November the 30th. This is the DoorDash search warrant return.
Correct.
Okay, so you can. I'm sorry.
Part of it, sorry, yes.
Okay, and so this is just depicting the November 30th date. November 30th dates. Okay. And so he logged on to DoorDash at what time?
11.
Okay, so that's the time he actually logged on. Correct. Okay. So going back to this version on Exhibit 142, there are no logons prior to 11 a.m. that day.
That's correct.
Okay. All right. And in fact, we see his first message was 11 a.m.
Correct.
Right. Exhibit 80, Exhibit 143. Now, the time here at the top corner, that's 11 a.m. to 11:19 a.m. And this is a map that's been created that depicts DoorDash pickups. Is that right?
Correct.
Pickup and delivery?
Yes.
Okay. And if you refer back to that DoorDash search warrant return, Exhibit 142, you were able to tell that he had 4 different orders that morning until the shooting?
That's correct.
Okay. So this location history depicts what?
Again, that's a path from the Google search warrant return we used to follow the path down to where he picked it up to where he dropped it off.
Okay. And at any point, did he stop by his house?
No, he did not.
This is 11:19. That's when he got his second delivery?
Correct.
Okay. And Exhibit 44, 11:19, 11:46. What do you see here?
It shows where his first drop off was, where the second pickup was,
Okay.
and then where he dropped it off.
Did he stop by his house then?
No, he did not.
Next DoorDash order is 11:58 a.m.
Correct.
Exhibit 145 here. This is the GPS locations.
This is
What do we see here?
his second drop off from the bottom part of the picture to where he went back up to the miner at the top side of the picture and dropped it off.
Did he ever stop by his house?
No, he did not.
This is 12:51 for a DoorDash order, November the 30th. 12:51. That's what you told us was when the shooting started.
Yes.
Exhibit 146. What do we see?
Where his third drop off was the bottom of the picture, the pickup and on the fourth trip to drop off the fourth trip.
Did he ever stop by his house?
No, he did not.
Now, what's the first relevant event in either James or Jennifer's devices after the shooting occurred at 12:50?
An email was sent.
Okay, this is Exhibit 141, or a portion of it. This is what?
That's the email header from the Oxford Community Schools at 1:09 p.m.
Your Honor, I believe this is Exhibit 147.
Oh, what did I say? I'm sorry. Thank you, 147. So this email was found from a search warrant return in James Crumbley's email?
Correct.
Okay. And it was sent from Oxford Community Schools to James_Crumbly at yahoo.com.
That's correct.
Subject line was active emergency at OHS.
Correct.
Okay. And this was at 1:09 and 52 seconds in the afternoon.
Correct.
Okay. Now, were you able to tell from his data locations where he was when he received the email?
He was going to the miner, yes.
Okay, so this is 1:11 p.m. So 1:11:38 seconds, about a minute and a half later, the GPS pinged at that same mire that you went to?
Correct.
Okay. That's Exhibit 148. Now, after that email was received at about 1:10 p.m., who did he call?
He called Ethan.
Okay. He called the shooter?
Yes, the shooter.
And that was at 1:13 p.m.?
Correct.
And at 1:17 p.m., he tried to call him again?
Correct, he did.
Okay. Neither phone call went through, is that right?
That's correct.
It's Exhibit 136. Does he leave the mic parking lot?
No, he does for a little bit, yes.
Okay. So at 1:17 p.m., we see a lot of different green dots here. Is this the first data location that shows that he left the Meyer parking
Yes,
lot?
it is.
So that was after he received the email and after he called his son twice?
Correct.
Okay. That's Exhibit 149. And does he call anybody else at that point in time?
Yes.
115.
Tried to call Jennifer.
Okay. That's Exhibit 136. And do we know Jennifer left for work that day?
That's correct, she did.
Okay. I'm just going to show a clip here. This is Exhibit 150 at 1:18 p.m. So this is after he had that 57-second phone call with Jennifer.
Correct.
Okay, we saw that James left the Meyer parking lot at 1:17. Did he go home then?
Yes, he did.
This slant is driving
Now,
me
first,
crazy.
did
I
he
wish
call-
they'd
did he
adjust
receive
the
a phone call from
camera.
Jennifer?
It's
Yes,
driving
he
me
did.
Okay,
nuts.
so this is 1:19 p.m. And how long is this phone call?
10 minutes and 19 seconds.
Exhibit 151 is GPS location from 1:20 in the afternoon, November the 30th.
Correct.
So that's right after he received that phone call from Jennifer Crumbley?
That's correct.
Okay, and this indicates that he was at the home.
90th Street, yes.
Now, at this time, do we know if Jennifer was on the move?
Yes, she was.
Okay, but she wasn't home.
She wasn't home yet? No, she was not.
All right. So this is exhibit 152. Where is she at from 1:18 to 1:20 p.m.?
That's her employer. She, Sword Lake and Telegraph.
Now, while she was on that phone call with the defendant, with James Crumbley, did she send any text messages?
Yes, she did.
This is exhibit 133. What did Jennifer Crumbley write to Andrew Smith? First of all, did you learn who Andrew Smith was?
Yes, I did.
Who's that?
That was her boss.
So this is at 1:23 p.m. According to the records that you reviewed. Was she still on the phone with James Crumbley?
Yes, she was.
What did she write her boss?
She said, the gun is gone and so are the bullets. He replies with, I'm praying everything is okay. She says, OMG, oh my God, Andy, he's going to kill himself. He must be a shooter.
Okay. And that was 1:23 in the afternoon on November 30th.
Correct.
No matter what the parents did or didn't do,
Now, the defendant
And
received
the
another phone call from his wife after they
responsibility
hung
that
up
falls
from that
on
10-minute
their
phone call.
Yes.
I could not
Okay.
imagine
Go
being
back to
in
the
their
phone log.
shoes at that moment.
This is at 1:30 in the afternoon. It looks like a 3-minute phone call between the two.
So
Correct.
devastating.
Now, this was at 1:30 p.m. with a 3-minute phone call, so it lasted about 1:33 in the afternoon.
Correct.
What did James Crumbley do after he hung up with his wife?
He called 911.
This is exhibit 154.
What's the location of the emergency?
This shooter situation going on in high school. My son goes to high school. I'm missing gun. You know, so gun in my house.
Okay, I'm your house right now. So then I'll have to shoot a situation.
I understand. There's a million guns here. I have a missing gun. And my son is at the school. And we had to go meet with the counselor this morning because something that he wrote on test paper. And then I was in him and saw a whole bunch of cops going somewhere. And I made sure I wanted to get to the hospital so I was going to high school. And then someone told me that there was an active shooter. And then I went home just to go find out. And I think my son took the gun. I didn't know. I don't know what's going on. It's really freaking out. My son's name is Ethan Crumbley. Crumbley. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Crumbley?
Yes.
I want to get your name and phone number from the emergency that's up there dealing with the situation here. Contact you, okay? What's your first name?
My first name is James.
And what thing else? Okay. And what's your phone number, please?
248 643.
Do you know what your son was running on the house this morning?
He had on sweatpants and a green shirt. A green sweatshirt.
Okay. So he's going to give you a call, okay? I can't give you the time because they're right in the middle of all of this. I can't give you a time, but we're going to give you a call so that this is possible, okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
That call was made at 1:34 in the afternoon.
Okay, that was very difficult to understand. I don't know if it was clear for y'all. Basically, that's the 911 call that the father made.
November the 30th.
That's correct.
And sir, if you know, that was before the name of the shooter was made public.
That's correct.
Now, at some point, was James Crumbley contacted by law enforcement?
Yes, he was.
Okay, you know if both James and Jennifer Crumbley went to the Oakland County Sheriff's Office, Oxford substation?
That's correct. They did.
Okay. This is exhibits 155 and 156. These are location points. 1:58 p.m. for James Crumbley. Where is he at?
That's the location of the substation.
Okay. So he made the phone call from his house at 1:34, and he's at the police station at 1:58?
Correct.
All right. And this is Jennifer Crumbley. She was there at 1:59?
Correct.
Now, sir, we talked at the beginning of your testimony about the multiple phones that were recovered and that you conducted analysis on. You have a chance to review the forensic download of the other phones as well.
Yes.
Okay. Now, during the course of your forensic investigation, did you find that on a phone associated with Jennifer Crumbley, what we refer to as a burner phone, had an alarm set for December the 4th, 2020?
Correct. It was.
Okay. That's 157. Oh, they're back home at 2:30 in the afternoon at 157. Exhibit 157. Is that right?
That's correct. Yes.
Okay. So Jennifer Crumbley 2:30, James Crumbley 2:30 afternoon.
Correct.
Okay. So now moving ahead to December the 4th. This is exhibits 159 and 160. What are we looking at here?
That's the screenshot on the left side, and then showing the alarm set on the right side.
Okay. Now, from your review of all of the forensic evidence that you had, did it appear that Jennifer Crumbly would leave her phones on throughout the night.
That's correct, she would.
Okay. Now, we talked a little bit about how the cache images were found of the 9mm handgun, but the message wasn't found, and how you have an ability to occasionally obtain deleted content.
That's correct.
All right. Were you able to obtain a Facebook thread between Jennifer Crumbly and somebody named Brian Mosh?
Yes, that's correct.
Were you able to obtain any particular messages that were deleted?
Yes.
I'm going to show you Exhibit 161 and 162. These have been admitted. 161, what are we looking at here?
The first box indicates that the message was unsent. The second one from Jennifer Crumbley is, we're on the run again. Helicopters not sure where to message you on December 2nd, 131.
When you say unsent, why is it significant to you?
It says she recalled the message back.
And this is from Facebook message?
Yes.
Okay, so this is the after the shooting. This is Thursday, December the 2nd, 2021. And she wrote, we're on the run again. Helicopters not sure where I'll message you.
Correct.
Exhibit 162, later on Thursday, December the 2nd, 2021. Did you find another deleted message?
Yes.
And tell us what that is, please.
The original message was rebuffed, and then that was also unsent.
And because it says you unsent a message and the red X, did that indicate to you that it was deleted?
Correct.
Now, sir, you reviewed all of the defendant's phone call history. Is that correct?
Correct.
At any point from the time that James Crumbley left that piece of paper on November the 30th, 2021, to the time the shooting occurred, at any point in time did he call any doctor, hospital, or medical provider?
There was no indication that, no.
Now, you reviewed his entire web history as well, James Crumbley. At any point did you see him researching 9mm handguns?
No.
It was a screenshot that was on his phone that was deleted, that was sent from his son to him on November the 8th.
That's correct.
Now, earlier,
So the father was
You
not the one
described
doing the research, it was
the
the
video that
son.
you put together of the shooting.
Whoa.
Yes.
And you spent, I asked you earlier, and I think the response was too many as far as hours. Could you, for context, though, to lay a foundation for the jury, could you give us an idea of how much time you actually devoted to this?
To that particular video?
Yes.
Your Honor, I'm going to object
40
to relevance.
hours.
I'm sorry, I'm going to object to relevance.
Judge, the jury is going to see the actual video in a few days. This witness was the individual to put over 100 camera angles together. To do that, he had to watch an awful lot of footage, and he also had to parse out certain activities of students before, during, and after the shooting. The video itself is synced together. There's portions where it skips, and we have to explain why. There's no sound in the video.
Okay, well, you can answer that. You can answer that. Why? It's not one complete video going from beginning to end.
No,
It's not,
a series of different cameras.
okay.
Okay. So it's followed the shooter's movements.
From the different cameras, correct.
Okay. But you also had to aid in the identification of the victims.
Yes, I did.
Okay. But how is it that you did that?
By where they were
Your Honor, I'm
standing.
going to object to this as well. I don't know how this is relevant either.
Judge, this is a homicide case.
Well, it is a homicide case.
Thank you. Go ahead.
By where they were standing, I was asked what they were doing.
But not follow from an
Later, his GPS pinged at that same. So it's follows the shooter's movements.
From the different cameras, correct.
Okay. But you also had to aid in the identification of the victims.
Sorry about that,
Yes, I did.
guys.
Okay. But how is it that you did that?
By where they were
Your Honor, I'm
standing.
going to object to this as well. I don't know how this is relevant either.
Judge, this is a homicide case.
Well, it is a homicide case.
Thank you. Go ahead.
By where they were standing, I was asked what they were doing just prior to the shooting. The victims were.
So how are you to put that together, though?
I don't understand what you mean.
How is it that you used that information to help identify the other investigators who was who? Let me ask you, did you learn what certain individuals were doing directly before the shooting?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And the group of students you identified as Hannah, Kylie, and Riley, did you know what they were doing?
Yeah, they were just standing there dancing and laughing at a beer and joking.
Thank you. That's right.
Those were the three that were shot
Can we approach Your Honor?
in a group.
Microphone, Your Honor.
Yeah, could you
Okay, so there appears to be a sidebar right now. I really feel for this guy. I mean, oh my gosh, I could not imagine sitting there and watching 40, 50, 60 hours of videos showing each angle of every shot this young man fired. Kudos to this gentleman. He's doing a fabulous job testifying. He did get a little emotional in the beginning, but very difficult. He is part of a legal department, but he is not like a street or a car or an investigator or any of that. He is, as he calls it, computer nerd. And this was such a horrific event. They had actually asked, sorry, excuse me, the little village or town asked the neighboring town to please send sheriff, and then they needed more hands on deck, so they pulled everyone, including the computer forensic people, which is what this guy basically does. And he went on to scene at one point, went into the security room and started helping them with the videos and finding things and placing things. So, excuse me, then later, I ate too fast. Then later, they ended up, he's the one that viewed every square inch of footage and helped with the metadata. And waiting to come back. Still questions, those who didn't hear me earlier, the headphones are because he does have a hearing loss. He's not deaf, but he does have a hearing loss. And so this is what he is using to ensure that he's hearing clearly the testimony. I had somebody ask me about my cups. I am a Starbucks cup person, and I have a lot of people who have given me, probably have about 50 of them.
Tonight at 9 o'clock in the morning. The reasons I don't explain to you more later when you meet. Much like I said at lunchtime, you cannot discuss your testimony with them.
They're going to take their lunch break. They will come back in a little bit later. So let me scrub forward and see. Well, I'll wait and see what she says to be back.
All right, so you can step down.
That beeping in the background is the side door to the courtroom.
I don't like to make you wait while we're doing it. So there's a lot of moving parts, so I want to let you go. All right. I need to tell you that during the trial, you should read, listen to, or watch any news reports about the case. Under the law, the evidence you consider to decide the case must meet certain standards. For example, witnesses must swear to tell the truth, and the lawyers must be able to cross-examine them. Because news reports do not have to meet these standards, they could give you incorrect or misleading information that might unfairly favor one side. So to be fair to both sides, you must follow this instruction. Do not go on social media, do not post, don't do research, don't discuss the case with anyone. We're going to start up at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. Does anybody have any questions about the schedule or anything?
Oh, okay. They're breaking for the day. So they're going to start at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning.
We'll start at 9.
I will not be here.
Not either. No, but we'll start at 9. So you guys are really good today about coming on time. I appreciate that. So sometimes we want to put the camera up and there's no. I'm here. We're moving a lot of people around. All right. So and the court and you have to go through security. There's all this thing. So and it takes some time. So we'll go all day tomorrow. We're making a really good time. I can tell you that. Anybody have any other questions about the schedule? Any other questions about the schedule? Oh, I forgot to order you to stay healthy. Okay. All right. And we'll start up again tomorrow then. All right.
All rise for the jury.
So we're going to just watch for a minute. I always like to watch the people in the court if they show it, body language. Every once in a while, you'll hear a beep. That's the side door that only the lawyers and court personnel can enter through. That's the same entrance they will bring the defendant in and out of. The defendant, someone asked why, okay, so hold on.
Yeah.
They're gonna go through some.
Another jerks.
Thank you.
I like the layout of this courtroom because usually you don't have, this is called the bar. This is the people sitting in the back. These 5 people here are the assistants to the lawyers. He's probably over here. These 4 are over here with them. I like that they have the seats separated. A lot of times they don't. And you have the bar that people walk in and out of, and then direct seats.
Issues anymore, right?
No, we agreed a few months ago.
Yes.
So I really like this. It looks like a new courtroom. Over here to the right is your jury box. What's happening? Guess they're doing some homework, I guess. I don't know. Housekeeping, that's the word I'm looking for. Mi no sabe. I thought we were done, y'all. We're done. Something's happening. I guess there's some motions they need to go through. Let's just kind of skip, see if I can kind of skip some of this.
Yeah, in the middle of a trial. Your Honor, before we get started, I'm just going to place my objection on the record that this is being handled.
But this is being handled.
Yes, especially in front of the media in the middle of a trial, when this is obviously very likely going to be put out in the public, Your Honor.
Oh, I do have a concern about that.
Judge, I was not certainly asking for it to be in front of the media, but I don't know how to make a record without that.
Well, we've learned that. It's called 8.119.
Ooh, something's going on.
Well, I guess I'm wondering during the course of the trial if there's any kind of a stipulation that could be agreed to.
Certainly, I'm happy to discuss what my request is, Judge.
Well, the same, would you be willing to have a discussion with the prosecutor's office? I can't, I have to hold a public court.
Correct, Your Honor.
I do not want to impact your client or your case in any way by doing so. So I'm weighing the rights of the parties. So.
I would be more than happy to speak with the prosecutor's office about this.
Judge, I'm going to be very brief.
Ooh, I don't know what's going on, y'all. But
I think the situation could be temporarily taken care of with a stipulated order, but I don't know if that's satisfactory or not. I'm reluctant to impact the rights of the parties during a jury trial.
I mean, Judge, my request is pretty straightforward, and it's pretty time limited.
Well, I know what your request is, but I'm concerned about statements that might be placed on the record, right? Aren't I concerned about that?
I am, Your Honor.
I mean, Judge, I think it's appropriate for the record, and obviously the jury's not present, that's why they're not here. But I understand what the court's raising. I'm not
All right. Well, I know.
So there's something they want to discuss that needs to be put on record, but we have live cameras in the room, and the defense and the judge are a little concerned about that. So they're balancing and weighing how to handle the situation. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know what's going on. I'm watching it just like you.
And asking if there's another method during the duration of the trial, which is another method or so.
That's exactly it, Judge.
Okay, so I'm asking if you and defense counsel
I
could
provided
enter
a
into
draft,
stipulation.
a draft order, Judge.
There was a draft order provided, Your Honor. It is not time specific. It appears to be kind of a blanket
So,
time period.
Judge,
I can set this for a motion, second, there's a verdict.
You
Judge,
could, Your Honor.
in fact, Judge, I think we'd be willing to have the order expire by its own terms upon a verdict. We're just talking about during the pendency of the trial.
I'm shaking his head, I would want to. In theory, I can ask prosecutor Kyle written motion, that doesn't help me either.
And Judge, I'm happy to do that.
Okay, Your Honor, my client is not willing to agree to the order,
Okay, so you.
basically restricting his ability to speak to people, Judge. I mean, it's a complete revocation, except for counsel.
I'm most concerned about him being able to talk to you.
Right. And absolutely, that's not part of what we're asking. I mean, Judge, if the order gets entered, we're asking that the communications be limited to only counsel in legitimate clergy during the rest of the trial. That's my request. We're talking 7 or 8 days. You can talk to his attorney, you can talk to legitimate clergy.
Okay, so if he doesn't agree to it, then the prosecutor is going to make the motion. Right?
And I have advised Mr. Crumbly of that, Your Honor. I would propose that there could be a different order with a restriction and not a complete revocation. Obviously, the prosecutor's office is reviewing communications. They would know whether or not the order was violated, and at that point, if the court needed to take action, then the court could take action.
Judge, it's not just about violations going forward, it's about the conduct that's already happened.
Well, I understand that. I understand that. It's so hard to understand. this.
Sorry about that. I had to step away. So if you don't mind, I am going to come back
Every call.
a little
Every
bit.
single call.
With the prosecutor's office about this.
Judge, I'm going to be very brief.
Okay, so I'm sorry I had to step away. It's hard doing things live all days and, ladies' room calls. So I appreciate your
I think the
understanding.
situation could be temporarily taken care of with a stipulated order, but I don't know if that's satisfactory or not. I'm reluctant to impact the rights of the parties during a jury trial.
I mean, Judge, my request is pretty straightforward, and it's pretty time limited.
Well, I know what your request is.
President,
Sorry, I just skimmed a little bit forward.
hold on just 1 second, Judge.
This looks like to be a separate lawyer, maybe another party involved, another.
Another method during the duration of the trial, which is another method or so.
That's exactly it, Judge.
Okay, so I'm asking if you and defense counsel
I
could
provided
enter
a
into
draft,
stipulation.
a draft order, Judge.
There was a draft order provided, Your Honor. It is not time specific. It appears to be kind of a blanket
So,
time period.
Judge,
I can set this for a motion, second, there's a verdict. Right?
You
Judge,
could, Your Honor.
in fact, Judge, I think we'd be willing to have the order expire by its own terms upon a verdict. We're just talking about during the pendency of the trial.
And the defendant shaking his head no. I'm dying to know what is the actual issue. I may have to watch an actual lawyer. They may know what's going on, but I
If you're going to ask prosecutor Kyle written motion, that doesn't help me.
And Judge, I'm happy to do that.
oh, he's
Your Honor, my client
adamant.
is not willing to agree to the order.
Ooh, Ooh.
Basically restricting his ability to speak to people, Judge. I mean, it's a complete revocation, except for counsel.
I'm most concerned about him being able to talk to you.
Right, and absolutely, that's not part of what we're asking. I mean, Judge, if the order gets entered, we're asking that the communications be limited to only counsel and legitimate clergy during the rest of the trial. That's my request.
This may be clergy
You can
related.
talk to his attorney, you can talk to legitimate clergy.
Okay, so if he doesn't agree to it, then the prosecutor is going to make a motion.
And I have advised Mr. Crumbly of that, Your Honor. I would propose that there could be a different order with a restriction and not a complete revocation. Obviously, the prosecutor's office is reviewing communications. They would know whether or not the order was violated, and at that point, if the court needed to take action, then the court could take action.
It's not just about violations going forward, it's about the conduct that's already happened.
Well, I understand that. I understand that. It's so hard to understand because there's a big old sign right there, right?
Every call. Every single call.
Yeah.
Judge, if there's not an agreement, I'd like
I
to just make my motion.
think, I'm not
It's fairly
sure,
brief,
but I
Judge.
think what's happened is that there's a recording of him speaking to his clergy.
So what's his position?
Your Honor, he is not agreeing to the order.
Okay, well, does he know that in 10 minutes there's going to be an article about it? Maybe not in 10, maybe 8.
Oh my God.
I can't.
He's shocked.
I'm not permitted to have a closed front row unless you're proceeding with a closed hearing and reduced to 109. And as I sit here right now, I don't know if this qualifies. So.
I will have to come back and we'll have to look at this a little bit. But if it is with clergy, okay, it's people think that everything you say to a clergy is protected. So I am an ordained minister, and if I come to you or if someone comes to me and talks about a crime or talks about something without invoking the rule, then it is fair game, at least from what I have been trained and taught where I live. If you go to like a priest and you go to confession and you do that, that is confessional type things are protected under the law. But if you're in a prison environment or jail environment and you have a phone call with clergy and all of that's recorded, I think it depends on the state on whether or not that's included. And I'm not sure, but I think that's what they're arguing over this. I'm trying to read.
No, he wouldn't.
No.
May I speak, Mr. Lynch, for 1 moment?
Yeah, you can step out of the
Yeah.
So the two of them are going to step out for a minute. Let me do this. I'm going to put my hearing aid in and see if I can listen to something. Got to get it connected. I may be totally off on this. I don't know. I am scrubbing.
want me to bring it in?
Yeah. Judge, I think we reached the resolution. Judge, I think I can just briefly make the record. This is obviously, the order is going to become public. The agreement is going to be that Mr. Crumbly's communications will be revoked, but not his ability to do research or otherwise participate in his own defense. So not just communicating with counsel, but his ability to read or
Okay,
get
this
other
is an issue.
Okay.
I may have been
information.
off.
Communication.
And
So-
that's going to be a stipulated order between you and this thing.
Correct.
All right, and did you say that that order would expire upon a verdict?
Yes, Judge.
Okay.
And
And
perhaps
what-
it should
what
go
if
without
there isn't
saying.
one? What if there isn't one?
Well,
I heard the
I
word
think-
clergy, so I don't know what's going on here.
Would you
I
like?
mean, we can address it at the time.
Okay.
I think the issue is, once there's a verdict, a lot of the issues just fall away.
Okay.
And Judge, it should go without saying, but I hope the court will encourage Mr. Crumbly that the conduct that's got us here.
I think I already did through his attorney.
Okay,
on several
thank you.
occasions, both in private meetings that we conducted. And I say private, I mean with both the prosecution and the defense.
And for the record, I've also addressed you.
I know you have. So,
So what I'll
You
do
got
is I'll
three legal
watch
advice.
and see if I can figure out what this is later. And on the next live, I'll come back to this.
So I'll sign the stipulated order.
Yeah, okay.
Good. I didn't sign it.
Okay, so they're signing the order right now.
May I approach Clerk, Your Honor?
First clear gun. These captionings are off. The sound is not that great, and I don't have equipment to separate it.
Right?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
That was the dream, huh? All right, so we'll start right at 9 o'clock tomorrow with your cross.
Okay, there you have it.
Thank
They're
you.
going to start again tomorrow morning at 9. I will not be here. I
All
will
right.
be listening. I will be driving, so I'll be listening to this. And then when I get back Sunday night, I will do a recap of tomorrow. Yes, and then Monday, I'll be back live again. Thank you every day. Everybody have an awesome weekend. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.